This is a basic instructional video on circular motion, an introduction to defense and basic offensive techniques utilizing circular motion. And we're starting this video with a warm-up. I'm narrating this so I can focus on explaining what it is that I'm doing, and while I'm doing it, focus on the exercise. Open up the arms a little bit to get the energy flowing. Perhaps you've seen this in Qigong. And there's a lot more exercises that you actually could do and probably should do. But this is a shortened version, some basic fundamental warm-ups for what we're going to be looking at. And of course you can do these slower. Alternating the circular motion, warming up the shoulders, wide turns. And then the neck. And then of course the waist twist. And this is also a basic warm-up for the strikes. Of course, focusing on a point each direction. So although we're not going to get into striking as a primary, it's going to come into the video towards the end, and how the defense works with the offense. Stretching the back and of course stretching forward. And beginning with our exercises, starting with one arm, going to the outside, also known as a parry. So you'll notice variants of this in jiu-jitsu, boxing. The boxing parry is different than this, but the principles are the same. It's important to do this exercise while keeping the elbow in. And then of course, smaller circle to wider circle. You'll notice the variant. Small circle, center line, wide circle. Warming up the muscle fibers. And then showing it from another angle. This is just a brief demonstration of how it quickly turns into a strike. Multiple strikes. And so we'll go back and forth with demonstrating how certain strikes work with these very simple, very natural ways of moving. So now I'm utilizing left, right, moving in a counterclockwise direction. Back and forth, high, and then incorporate a few strikes. Basic defense to the outside. And then going back to the waist twists. And then of course mixing it up. You can also throw in some push-ups. You can throw in some other forms of cross-training. Now we're going to the inside, and then being conscious of our center line. Wide circle to small circle. The wider circle defending against kicks and other things. And then doing this naturally, and then bringing your hand back to the center. There's going to be times where you may have to move your hand to certain directions away from your face. And so these exercises go well with any martial arts style, just like meditation goes well with various spiritual belief systems. These exercises, as far as I'm concerned, is the bread and butter of basic fundamental self-defense. And then stretching it out. So now it's double to the inside, as we just showed, double to the outside. From wider to smaller. And then trying to slow it down. But there's something very powerful about these exercises and the flowing of energy. So it almost seems unnatural, but once you start doing it and you start feeling your own energy, you find yourself your own teacher. And then using a cutoff branch, some sort of a makeshift Wing Chun dummy, but a lot of the principles you see in Wing Chun relate to the center line as well. So this isn't necessarily one particular style. It's more of a incorporation, but you see more of this in Kung Fu. This type of training. And so in this case, we're going from the inside to the outside, back and forth. One hand at a time. To the outside, to the inside. Straight punches, things coming at the head, moving it to the side. Moving it to the outside, moving it to the inside. To the inside, to the outside, back and forth. Wide circle. And then, of course, in different directions. This is a little bit more advanced, and I'm not an expert. But getting to the place where you intuitively are responding to certain attacks. And then going back to center. Breathing, and you see this exercise in Tai Chi. Now I call this the circle ball. And this is where this exercise starts, and you're going to see quickly how this quickly can become offensive. And of course there are meditations focused on stretching out this ball of energy, and that's a good place to start. Showing in different angles. So this is really a double block, and you're going to see how this is a very powerful defensive and offensive technique, utilizing the elbow. But this is more of a sped up version of the exercise, and you want to practice with various levels of intensity and speed. Throw in a few strikes, and demonstrate it all comes down to this energy moving back and forth, which does incorporate the waist twist and the power behind those strikes when you're parrying and striking at the same time. Coming back to center. Okay, so a punch coming this direction. Okay, double block, double parry, catching it, and then responding with an elbow. This is actually something that I learned at the age of 13, self-taught from a videotape, but I didn't notice this, or I haven't learned this from other instructors. But it's a very fast, effective technique. Anticipating the strike coming in, and it could be something holding the weapon, and then coming back with an elbow, backhand, elbow, and actually a backhand again. And there's a lot of things that somebody can do by themselves without a partner. Obviously, having a partner helps with certain things. And it's also good to practice striking with different types of heavy bags and objects. So going back to the single hand to the outside of the inside, and then to the outside double hand, and then to the inside double hand. Wider circle. I also call this the windshield wiper effect. And so you're going to see more of that application with both hands. Now this, what we're moving into now, and this is just simply again demonstrating the parry, the defense, and then the offense. Okay, so we're demonstrating going in the same direction. And it may look funny from the angle, but there's a method to the madness. So we're going to my left, and I'm moving in a circle. And so instead of the windshield going back and forth, it's a continuous in one motion. Moving in, trapping, looking for weaknesses, ready to strike. So it's very offensive when you're prodding, and you're moving forward while moving in a continuous defensive action, which quickly turns offensive. Again, same direction, going both sides. And sometimes it takes me a few moments to really get the rhythm. But it's a very energizing technique as well, very releasing. And then starting to incorporate some palm strikes and demonstrating the automatic parry and strike at the exact same time, from a straight punch to a shovel hook to a hook, straight punch, shovel hook, hook. That was a rich hand. Open-handed strike, and it flows really naturally. But a lot of fighters don't do this automatically. This is something that is cultivated. The automatic block, parry, circular motion, and strike at the same time. From the elbow to the straight punch. As the waist is twisted in the same direction, throwing two strikes out of one waist twist. Going from the parry to the strike. In particular, the palm. The palm was already very powerful. There's a lot more protection in the palm when you're striking. So, with the lead hand only, parry and palm. Parry and palm. Parry and palm. And of course you can improvise, you can pad things up in your shed, in your house. You don't have to hit it very hard. I'm not hitting it with full force. But the hands are naturally toughened enough to deal with something like that. So going from the palm strike and also demonstrating other strikes, uppercut. Straight, so both horizontal and vertical. Other strikes, palm. And then, of course, heavy emphasis on bringing it back, protect your face. Elbow in. None of us are perfect. But heavy emphasis on that automatic bring it back. There are too many people that just completely drop it. And then, of course, the legs are part of this as well, when it comes to the power and torque, which we'll cover in another video. So then, of course, striking, alternating the strike, but getting in the habit of parrying to each side. And you can actually get a heavy bag that's perfect for you to strike. so you don't have to break your hand on some of the bags that are out there. It's not necessarily about the power. So again, demonstrating also defense against kicks while throwing a vertical punch. Training with both vertical and horizontal strikes. And this is something that you can do for an extended period of time. And again, you can add in some cross training. You can add in some sit-ups, some running, then go back to your training, and then go back and do it again. Something highly aerobic. Practicing your strikes as you move. Combination of hard and soft. Going from circular motion to an elbow. And then, of course, emphasis on the waist. Now the knife hand and rich hand, the way the body moves flows along those same lines of that windshield wiper effect of the defensive. So these are offensive strikes, collarbone, temple, and a rich hand actually has a lot of power even though you're not striking with a closed fist. Going back to the circle. Rich hand, knife hand, back and forth. Windshield wiper effect, throwing a palm, and a few other strikes. Back and forth. So the body has a lot of torque. When it gets to hitting in certain directions, the knife hand, certain parts of that hand, it can be very effective. Now when the hands aren't always closed, like a boxer, when they're fluid and open and your arms are relaxed, you're faster. And we're finishing up this video with, again, a few more demonstrations of the parry and strike at the same time. Various strikes, it's not just boxing from palm to rich hand to even a knife hand to a backhand to an uppercut, hook, shovel hook, straight punch, vertical, and horizontal. And then, of course, there are other strikes, the martial arts, tiger claw, eagle claw, and other things that are a little bit more specialized, but also very effective. And like we showed with the same hand, block and strike, the backhand, now the elbow, front strike. And striking also in between your blocking and building up your speed using one hand only, then flowing back to defense. Defense, then offense. And that concludes this video. Thank you for watching.